today. Ubisoft neatly avoided a which console is better debate by replacing it with a much, much stupider one. This is CheckPoint. Welcome to CheckPoint, where we are available in any resolution you want.
Just believe with all of your heart.
Some high-level Destiny guardians were dismayed to discover that the new Iron Banner World event doesn't explicitly favor players with all the new tricked-out gear. Presented with the tagline, Power Matters, the Iron Banner confused fully equipped players with levels in the high 20s who found themselves being taken out by some random level 6 opponent. Bungie has clarified the intent of the event, saying that while the regular PvP Crucible uses matchmaking based on character level, the Iron Banner pairs up players based on skill, and the quality of your gear is only going to amount to a maybe 20% advantage. So essentially, Bungie's message to those who were hoping their amazing exotic weapons would let them crush all the noobs is, you also have to be good at the game. We think it's kind of hilarious that they had to release a statement telling their players to get gooder.
Users of the Chinese mobile game Crazy Lai Wang are probably checking their privacy settings after they discovered their gameplay videos were being published online for everyone to see. The charade-style game works by allowing players to send videos of themselves miming out a word or a phrase to a friend who then has to guess what it is. According to the South China Morning Post, the problem is that all those videos weren't just being sent to the intended recipients, they're also uploaded to a public account on Chinese video sharing site Youku, supposedly for storage. Now, as a fellow human, you're probably thinking, oh dear, I bet some of those people made videos while they weren't wearing any clothes. And you're correct. Except you probably need to downgrade your enthusiasm for the human race by replacing some with a lot. Just look at this collection of screenshots from the Youku channel. This doesn't look like a bunch of people playing a fun mobile game. This looks like the vacation album of a sex tourist. There's more nudes on display here than there are at the really exciting wing of the art museum. You know, the part where all the 13-year-old boys loiter? On the upside, the fallout is leading to widespread calls for China to tighten up its lax privacy laws. On the downside, after seeing this, I can never play charades with my family again.
Assassin's Creed Unity's senior producer, Vincent Pombriand, said something pretty stupid last week. And unlike when the director for Call of Duty advocated brainwashing the US public into accepting a police state, gamers are actually very upset with Ubisoft. According to Pombriand, they decided to lock down the Xbox One and PS4 versions of Unity at 900p 30 frames per second to avoid the debate of which system looked better. This has angered Sony supporters who have seen game after game this past year release at 900p 30 on Xbox One and 1080p 60 on PS4, and Pombriand's statement clearly sounds like they've chosen to make the PS4 version worse to avoid these exact issues. Pombriand later clarified that he had chosen the wrong words and that they had absolutely not reduced the quality of any version of the game. And maybe we could have given them the benefit of the doubt on that if they'd just stopped talking. But then Ubisoft decided to wonder aloud if 60 frames per second is even that much better, comparing it to the weird-looking smooth motion of the Hobbit movies. Even though people have been playing games at 60 frames per second for years, and it's a wholly different medium if you're controlling the camera, and why even argue the point if you couldn't have done it at 60 in the first place? Ubi's creative director Alex Amancio even tried to make an artistic argument for it, saying that 30 frames per second was more cinematic. If you actually want to make it more cinematic, then use 24 frames per second like the cinema does. Throw some 35mm motion blur, a slight grain on there. Could be really good, but not for Assassin's Creed.
Actress and professional troubled person Lindsay Lohan is suing Take-Two for using her likeness in the marketing for Grand Theft Auto V. According to her 67-page complaint, the picture evokes the persona and image of Lohan. The complaint also alleges the illustration is based off a 2007 photo of the actress. Now, besides the fact that this illustration is based on a picture of model Shelby Wellander, and besides the other fact that if anyone should be suing over this picture, it's Kate Upton, Lindsay, you need to understand that just because this character is a blonde fuck-up doesn't mean she's you.
During an episode of IGN's Nintendo Voice Chat, Julian Egbrecht, the former president of developer Factor 5, basically just made all of us real sad by talking about all the Star Wars games they worked on that never got released. A Rogue Leader trilogy collection for the original Xbox featuring online multiplayer, cancelled for a reason not given. An Xbox 360 launch title called Rogue Squadron X-Wing vs. TIE Fighter, canceled because LucasArts wasn't sure if making a launch title was a good idea. Then they reworked the Rogue Leader trilogy into a Wii title with options to pilot an X-Wing with the steering wheel and balance board and use the Wii Motion Plus for lightsaber fights, and that one was finished, but was never released owing to the 2008 financial crisis and executive shakeups at LucasArts. Their next project, an open-world Superman game, also burnt down, fell over, and sank into the swamp before Factor 5 eventually filed for bankruptcy. Next week on the show, we'll be interviewing the Bog Witch that evidently cursed Factor 5 and how she's keeping busy with 3D realms these days. And how's that gig working out for you?
Well, I mean, it's a definite step up from Sea Hag, which is where I started. But, it's still a side job for me, but I think I'm doing good work.
Terrific.
Coming up, Powers is a new superhero TV show coming exclusively to the PlayStation Network because everyone needs to be making their own TV shows these days. I look forward to America's Hottest Graph coming this fall to my Texas Instruments 83 Plus.
That was Eddie Izzard, actually. Yeah, that was Eddie Izzard and Charlton Copley.
I do like Charlton Copley.
Charlton.